Today we're going to talk about blossom end rot, ways to treat it, ways to prevent it, and what causes it. A lot of people think that blossom end rot is simply a lack of calcium, and while that's true in a lot of cases, that's not the only cause. Tomatoes are a very common crop that can suffer from blossom end rot, and it's pretty common for peppers to suffer from it as well. While it's true that blossom end rot is caused by a calcium deficiency, more goes into it than just making sure there's calcium in your soil. Here is a very minor example of blossom end rot. You can see right here on the end of the fruit, there's a little leathery scab. It was so minor in the case of this tomato that it was still able to develop the rest of the way. But in most cases, like you'll see in these examples right here on these labels, they will darken up the entire bottom of the fruit to the point where it will not be viable. There are a lot of factors that can play a role in causing blossom end rot. Even if you have adequate calcium in your soil, incorrect pH levels and incorrect watering can play a major role in whether or not your fruit develops blossom end rot. Making sure that your soil has the correct pH levels is very important in preventing blossom end rot. Having correct pH levels will allow the plant to utilize the nutrients that are available in the soil. Tomatoes prefer a pH of around 6.2 to 6.8. If your pH is low, you can add lime. The only accurate way to know how much lime you would need to add to your soil, if you need to add any at all, is by doing a soil test. You can come into one of our stores and get a kit that will only test your pH, and then you will know your pH levels. However, if you wanted a more detailed test, we can get a soil sample sent out for you for the cost of only $20. That test will determine your pH levels, your macronutrients, the micronutrients in your soil, and can help guide you on knowing how much lime and how much fertilizer to apply to your garden. You can stop into one of our menu mill locations and we can provide you with a bag for the soil testing, or you can fill up a sandwich bag, bring it to our store, and we will do the rest for you. When you're filling up your sample, just make sure that it is free of rocks, grass, and sticks. You want to go about 6 inches deep when collecting your sample and collect small amounts from about 12 to 15 different areas, mix it all together in the bag so that way you will have an accurate reading of the overall area that you plan on putting your plants in. The sample will then be shipped out to a Waypoint lab. In about 1 to 2 weeks, we will call you once we have the results. And while a soil test can be performed at any time, we recommend doing this before you plant your plants so that way you can set yourself up for success from the start, knowing what fertilizer you need and how much lime, if any, you will need for your soil.